What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another Market Watch. Now, I apologize, I haven't loaded anything up. I've been very busy with work, but I'm going to be giving you a really pretty intensive Market Watch today. Hopefully, we could get through it very quickly. It's going to be influenced mainly from BT11 announcements, BT10, and also a little bit from the starter deck for Digimon that was just announced with what some of the cards do, and that is like a very competitive deck that's going to be coming to us possibly like by next year. So with that said, please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below. I'll watch like to see you next. So starting off, what I'm actually going to do is something a little different than what I normally do. Now I'm using DigimonCard.dev, and I'm not going to talk about every single card we go over, but with BT11 just recently been announced and completed in terms of all the new releases, I do want to kind of go over a few cards that were recently, I guess you could say, are contenders for meta when we get to it. And that is going to first be the All Force V German stuff. And that stuff here is when Digivolving, you can play a Tamer. This is, if you don't know how to play All Force, it's basically you play a Tamer, you gain special effects from the Tamer, and All Force gets special effects from playing Tamers. So with this, basically you are playing a Tamer from your hand on Digivolve, and then when you play a Tamer, you can unsuspend this Digimon. That is not a once per turn, so you can use that multiple times during the turn. And then when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, return one of the level 3 or lower Digimon on your opponent's side of the field to their hand, and then you can increase the max number from the number of blue Tamers you have in play. So that is the effect of the All Force here. And then what you really just need to know is that everything underneath here basically has the same effect of gaining 1 memory when you play a blue Tamer, or gaining draws. And so that is kind of how you're supposed to play. And of course they get the other Tamer here, which is the Rena. And basically it has other effects of like one of your Digimon instant becomes suspended. By suspending this Tamer, activate one of the Digivolving effects, and then when one of your blue Digimon unsuspends, gain memory. So because you do a lot of unsuspending and suspending with this entire archetype, it is going to, people are thinking that it may be one of those decks that do a lot of damage to your opponent, a lot of swings, a lot of gaining back memory and being able to continue your turn. So that's very big for this set here. Now, I'm only going over a few of the cards because I am going to chat. I want you to go to DigimonCard.dev or DigimonCard.io. Both of those sites should have the cards loaded up now, so you can see what they do. Now, we do have some other stuff over here. I'm not going to go into every single thing, but we have some Lady Devimon support, Devimon, Angemon support. We have Black or Greymon support. This is a fan favorite, especially this one over here. This is going to be definitely one of those cards that you see in a lot of Metal Greymon, Black or Greymon decks once we get to BT11. You do have some other black support that comes out in this set, as well as some yellow support. Now, the Angel Woman and the Angemon both have effects that apply to purple Digimon as well, so that's going to be a big thing as well in this set. And this also, you do get some cross support in this set as well. So that is mainly like the BT11 stuff. Now I'm going to be talking about it once we get to a little bit more in detail, but I'm going to now go back to some of the other cards that I think are good pickups or things you should consider picking up now while you have the chance and while the prices are still low. And the first one I'm going to say is Jellymon. Now, if you don't know, in the upcoming set, we do have some support for Jellymon coming out in the form of their ultimate level. And Jellymon is really going to be one of those cards that can be used as a package deal with decks like All Force, decks like Rookie Rush, multiple being able to give itself jamming, things like that. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that when I get a little bit into it. But this one over here is the BT9 Alta Art, and I really love this Alta Art personally because of design. I'm really big fan of like anything that has to do with the ocean or water. I'm a big fan of blue in general, but I think that this is a very cool card that works well with a lot of blue Tamers. And once you play a Tamer, you can draw 1 card, and then when an effect adds a card to your hand as an inherited, you can return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to your owner's hand. So it's been trailing upward recently, a few extra listings. It was going down, as you can see over here, for a while. It was around the $12 mark, but it is starting to going up a little bit, tiny bit, while it's here. Now, another one we have is, this is going to be definitely the one you want to consider picking up soon, is the Jellymon that comes from the promotion packs. Now, you get these cards either, I guess, by buying it on TCG Player or whatnot, but you basically get these cards by participating in your locals or certain events, just for being there. And once they announce the new cards like Volume 6, Volume 7, whatever it might be, then these cards start to fade out of existence. And you can really just get them if stores have extra packs or if you trade with friends. And this one, again, is a bit of a draw of mechanic. If you have a Kiroshiro, which we'll get to in a second, you can draw one. So all Jellymon stuff is really about increasing your hand size. So it could do shenanigans once it gets to level 4s, level 5s, and having an inherit. So I do think that this is a card that you want to get your hands on now before it goes off the market. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily these cards are going to be competitive, but I think always having a couple of cards that are from the promotion packs in saving, you never know what's going to come out. Ghost Game, I think, is pretty much almost done with the series, so you may want to consider getting your pieces now. And now that you have a protagonist Digimon in a series like Jellymon, you may get additional support down the line. Now, going along with Jellymon, you do have this tamer. Now, this is another Volume 5 card that you absolutely need, is the Kiroshiro. And the really cool thing about this is that if you attack with a Digimon that has Jellymon in its sources, it gains jamming. And this is the combo you want to play. Essentially, is you have a Kiro and you have something with Jellymon in its traits. You swing, you gain jamming, and then the higher up levels, which I'm not going to go over in detail, basically allow you to unsuspend or draw cards, unsuspend. It kind of just allows you to do it, in a sense, a bit of like a rookie rush kind of strategy. So again, this is going for about $15. There's about 10 listings on TCG. I'm sure you can find them other places as well, but this is definitely one you want in your collection as well. Now, still staying with the Ghost Game, but changing gears a little bit to red, is Gamamon. And if you don't know, we get a really cool a few cards in BT10 that support Gamamon and the deck itself. And Gamamon, basically, this one here is definitely one you want to have in your deck. It's a BT8 altar, and first thing I want to always just point out is the artwork. I think is fantastic for this one. Having all three of the main protagonist Digimon on the card, it's just a good, nice artwork. If you like Ghost Game, if you like to collect arts like this is definitely one I would definitely consider picking up for that reason alone. But if you are looking to pick up Gamamon cards, Gamamon support, you can try to pull one of these and put them in your deck, or even have a playset if you're able to get that lucky. Now, it has been kind of going all over the place. It's been about $15 right now. I personally think I sold this or traded this to a friend of mine for about $10, so I know that it was definitely lower a while back. This is, I'm saying, probably about a month back, but again, this is a similar effect to Jellymon of drawing one when you play a red tamer, and then has an effect, inherited effect. Now, what's really cool about the Gamamon cards in general are that the big boss monster, which is I think called Kai's, it's Kano Wisemon, I think is what the name is. You can digivolve into that, and it gains all the additional effects of all the Gamamons or anything with Gamamon in its name underneath it as Digivolution sources. Now, that's not just including the inherited skills, that's the actual effects as well of drawing one if you play a red tamer. So it's something that you may want to consider picking up. They only have an ultimate right now, and I'm sure there's going to be a mega that was announced or will be shown in the show and gain a little bit more support once we get to stuff like BT12 or 13. Now, another one, sorry, some of these are loading. Oh, let's leave the store. I was in a store, sorry. Let's get out of that. Hopefully none of the other ones will have to do this too. But Gamamon over here, this is also a really good one you want, is when you have Hero, which is the tamer you're going to play, and actually the one I'm going to show next. You get 2,000 additional DP. It's very important for the level 5 that we get in BT10, because there are effects that do additional security checks once you reach a certain number of DP. So this one over here, 10 listings, about $10, but as you can see, quickly going up to about $13. There's a little bit of a $20 over here, which maybe is saying where it might go, but I do think that picking these up again earlier on with the volume 5 is good, especially if that's what you're looking to play. Going into another one over here, we have Hero. Hero is another volume 5 card that we want to take a look at here. It's going for $15, and there are quite a few listings at 15. This is the one that I think you want to play the most in the deck, in the sense that when you attack with a Digimon with Gamamon and its sources, you can suspend the tamer, give it security +1, and then there are certain effects that the higher level Gamamon cards have, that when you tap a tamer or a hero, you can gain additional effects from that as well. So that is something you may want to consider picking up now, again, if you haven't already, or if Gamamon is something you want to play. Now, I'm going to change gears a little bit and take a look at some promo cards, as well as some stuff from BT10. As you know, as if you don't know, Digimon, the one that has security +1, is getting a new version of it in the event pack 3, and the more regionals we have, the more you'll see of this card being pulled, which may actually impact this set size. You can see here there's 34 listings, still pretty high actually for about $20 here. And I think it's because some people just really like this artwork. It is one of the first Digimon that did have like more of a full artwork on this, and I do think that it is a really nice card, the Digimon, this one over here. But I am looking forward toward getting like an event pack and getting this one in there instead. I think this is going to continue to trail down. If we look at the sales history over here, it's really interesting because we don't see much movement on this. Like, there's not really a change in the price, other than like maybe July down here. But it's been staying at consecutively about $20, and I'm a little surprised of why it does keep that price, because the more of the new event pack 3 we have, the less it has. So I don't know. I really don't know whether or not this one is a good pickup or not. But I have a feeling it is going to go down over time. But if Digimon does get extra support, then you can definitely say that this is going to change in price. Now, Sakuyamon from Digital Hazard. This is a gorgeous card in my opinion. Again, I love the artworks they do for Sakuyamon. I'm a big fan of the other one. If you've watched my other videos, 12 listings, going about $40. I think it's appropriate. There is a strategy using this card along with main mode, and just kind of recycling, being able to do multiple checks with Sakuyamon, Rika, and main mode. It's really cool. Just like really love this artwork, and personally think it's a good pick. Hasn't really changed its price too much over the last couple of weeks. Even like back in like the beginning of September, it wasn't too different. I think the lowest it was at was for 35, and if we look at the trail for here, it was around 41. And pretty much when EX2 came, sorry, not EX2, BT9 came out, it trailed down a bit because I think no one was really using it, but now it is back up to where it was before. So I think it's going to. I think people are going to pick up BT10, and they're going to see whether or not this is a viable strategy. And if it isn't, then you may see it come back down. Kind of same thing with Rika over here. Rika is a very hard tamer to kind of use in the deck because there's really no way of searching her. You have to kind of get her when you get her, and Yellow doesn't have that ability as often, other than if you're playing the Patamon lets you look at like the top 4 or something. But yeah, this Rika, first off, I love the artworks that they did with this set, with the merging Digimon in the back with Sakuyamon, and then the cross they have coming out of the Digivice. I think this is really good. You can see 10 listings currently for about $36. I think it's good. I want to talk about this next card. The Aizmon Scatter Mode Store Championship. So we have seen it fluctuate a tiny bit. It's been going slowly down. And there are a limited amount on the market here. Now, I wouldn't really worry too much about the Troll and Toad one down there, but we do have, there are limited amounts of Store Championship versions of this card. I'm sure that once we hit probably about, I think the next set of Store Championships is in October or November, so we will be getting more of these on the market. So if I were a betting man, I'd probably say this is going to go even further down once more of these come to the market, probably around the 30, maybe 25 mark. But we'll see. This is a lot of decks are going to be using this card, especially the draw 3 and trash 2 for what purple does is just really, really good. So I would definitely consider holding off at least a month until we have our next round of store championships and see what that price does. I doubt that this is going to be a buyout at some point. And if it is, I still wouldn't pick it up. You do have very affordable commons of these that you don't necessarily need. You don't necessarily need the hollow version unless you are playing in a top levels event and you just want to showcase your deck. Now, this has been on my radar for quite a bit of time. $53 at its lowest for Calling from the Darkness pre-release. I do think that it definitely earns its price because it's such a powerful card to play one for cost of one. Basically taking two to your hand, and you don't need to really fulfill the first condition of delete one of your Digimon, which I feel is a very big design flaw in this card. I think they should have made it delete one of your Digimon, and if you do return purple Digimon cards to your trash to your hand, just being able to play this, get 2 resources back, is so powerful sometimes, and I understand why it's $53. However, I'm not sure if this is an appropriate price for 7 listings. I know that this has been bought out multiple times. I personally would stay away from this until it goes back down, and that's for someone who actually did pull Calling and has it for $53. Going into some stuff that we may see in BT10, Lucemon Chaos Mode. Now this looks like a big, nice little squiggly line. The Chaos Mode is a very powerful card in BT10 because it's a tamer popper, and that is going to be something that you see a lot of because a lot of the bigger decks, especially Shoutmon, which is one of those very, very powerful decks, relies a lot on their tamers, and if you're able to pop their tamers, I think that it's good. And even with cards like Jessamon GX, unless they're able to attack unsuspended Digimon, this can just stay unsuspended until you're able to go into your level 6 on top of it. So I do think that this is a very good tech to play, and it has been seeing this lake going up and down over the last couple of weeks. It is pretty much staying at $40, and I think it is going to pretty much stay into $40. Mastermon itself is a very powerful deck. Being able to just get rid of so much stuff for pretty free. Even if you are passing memory, usually you're being able to delete their board pretty easily as well. Now going into another card just to keep in mind is the Mako. Mako is a fierce card. $26. I think that's a little high, even with I actually also have this one, and I don't really play too many purple yellow decks, but being able to hard play this in stuff like Mastermon or with security control, I've seen some decks with this in it as well, is a really cool idea, and it does allow you to kind of reduce a lot of cost to hard play, like a 2-color Digimon, like a Makomon, or some of the security Digimons. I forgot what the other one is called, Makumon, and then the crack Makomon or something like that. I think it should be a little lower, but I do think it's a good card to have if you're looking to max rarity your deck. Now, going back to the Vmon discussion, I like to usually wait 1 or 2 weeks when the cards come out just to see if prices come back down. And by the way, just so you know, those cards that I kind of went over about the All Force were released about a week and a half ago. May have been a little earlier than that. And you can see the price kind of calmed down on a lot of this stuff here. There are a lot of listings for Vmon here. This is the Grand Prix one over here to DC1, as you are able to unsuspend this Digimon and trigger a draw 1, which of course you want to do with some of these decks like All Force that lets you unsuspend multiple times. So for $12, I do think it's actually a half decent price. I think you should pick these up if you are looking to max rarity your deck or trade them with friends. They were such a low price for a long time. I think that this is worth considering picking up. Now, a little bit of a penny stock I would also invest in is the Vmon over here. I'm a huge I'm someone who hugely believes that Vmon and protagonist cards like Vmon with the Tamers will always get support, and they're always going to have alternate Digivolution abilities. And what I actually think for $2, I think this is a good to get a play set of 4 just to hold in your back if you don't already have one. Just because I probably by the end of this year or next year we do get EX3. EX3 does have the red and purple Vmons, and then future down the line, I'm sure we're gonna get like a yellow Vmon or a green Vmon or something else. And I know that there's gonna be cards that are Armor Rush cards that always will have the alternate Digivolution of Digivolving from a Vmon. So I do think that holding on to these may end up helping you long term if you end up using these long term and they don't get a reprint. EX1 was not opened up too much, and is starting to see a tiny bit of people ripping them open because of Machine Digimon support that was announced. But I do think that this is a good penny stock to invest in over time, and you never know. Once some support for blue or blue or Vmon stuff comes out, you may see this come back out again. Well, that was a little bit of a change over here, but yeah, there weren't many Vmon I wanted to cover, but this one is one. So this is direct support for All Force, and we already have it. And it's if you participate in a regionals, you'll get this card as part of your participation. So depending on how many times you do get into regionals over the 2022 season, you may end up getting a playset, and this is pretty good. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1. You do want more cards in your hand so you can play more Tamers, especially when by BT11. I think this is a definite card you want to consider having. Of course, there is the one that you can get from the starter deck, which I think I might actually have up as the next card. But this one over here is what I would consider to be the top rarity, and you do see it for $25. And just, I think, am I right? Yeah, this one over here, as you can see, also has been kind of going up since the announcement over here, and is around the same price that we have the other Vmon from EX1 at, about $2. Maybe a little higher than that. I think it is a good pickup if you're looking not to go over max rarity, but to at least to have a playset of these cards. Looking at the original All Force, let's see if it picks up. Yeah, there we go. This one over here has seen a bit of a price hike. It was going for about $11 before the announcement, and then it jumped to $15, $17, $18. And as you can see here, it's sticking about $17. I think the closer we get to BT11, the higher this is going to go. It is a very good one where when one of your blue Tamers becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. For 3, I think a lot of people are picking this card up because of the 3 cost. And just having the artwork here, I think this is one of the best sets to have with the All Force. Sorry, not with the Royal Knights. Like all the Royal Knights, all the cards that came in the set have the very similar design. That they look like they're on a circuit, and I do think it's something you consider picking up. Once returned, you become unsuspended. You gain a memory. I think this is a very good card to pick up. You could play the other versions of it, and also I think there is going to be a gold version of this that comes out in BT10. No, sorry, I think it's gonna be in the starter deck for Beelzemon or something around that. But this one over here is a very good collectible item, and I do think that about $17 is an affordable price. I think it will continue to go up personally, but I think you have time to make that decision sooner than later if you are a fan and looking to play the deck when it comes out. Now, I wanted to go over real quick about Davis, and Davis has seen a tiny bit of a spike, only because I think people are just looking to pick up the alt arts when we get them, or the full arts, and it was $19 for quite a long time, but over the last couple of weeks you can see that we were, well, let's go a little further back, I guess. Okay, maybe a little further back. Alright, my point is, alright, yeah, I'm just going to use this chart here. Right around, I guess, the beginning of September here, we could see that it was going for like that $17-18 mark. It went down pretty significantly to about the $11-10 mark. I think that they're going to come down even further when we get those full arts. So people are going to be starting to pick those up. But if you aren't looking to pick up too much product and you're looking to trade, I'm sure these are going to drop down even further to about $5. I would definitely try to sell these if you haven't already, if you're not looking to play any more blue or Davis decks at the moment. Now, another blue tamer was Tai Kamiya. It's a very good tamer for the Digimon art type, and basically, again, you can tap this tamer, trigger draw 1, or give it 1000 DP for the turn. This was only available from the top box topper from BT1, and it did have that initial buyout about the like $13 mark, and then it went back down to $6. I think it's gonna pretty much stay right around this price because the further out we get, the harder it is going to be to get these cards. I do think they are worth though picking up, at least so you have your copies of them if you're looking to play the deck. I don't mean, you never know, they may end up coming out with another Tai Kamiya that's a V-Tamer for Digimon. But we'll see. I just think that at least having 1 to 2 of these cards may be a good idea if you're looking to pick up. One card that you absolutely want to have and is actually really cheap to get right now is the other arena, the one that I think came in, I think it's from 1.5. I'm not I don't remember which one it was that came in. It could be 1.0, but basically arena over here is the only other arena we have that you could play. And basically I think some of the effect of the digivolving one is to like use one of the tamers use an on play effect of the tamer, so you could use it for a search, and you could also gain DP for the turn, making your Digimon a little bit stronger. So something to keep in mind. The last card, I think this is the last card. Might be one more. No, actually, this is the last one. At least direct support for Digimon is going to be this one over here. This is the Digimon that we had from BT1, and the reason why I think this is a good investment to pick up, at least this is the alt art version, is that you can unsuspend this Digimon when attacking if you have a tamer in play. It's a once per turn effect, unfortunately, but for 6 costs for level 4 to play, it's pretty steep, honestly. But you could essentially use this as a tech in the deck as well. I know it was bought out when it was announced, so it was going for about something like $5, or it definitely wasn't $11. Oh, maybe it was. But I do know it was very, very cheap, and it is going up in price. So again, something to consider picking up if you haven't already. A little bit of I guess this is considered, I would consider this part of the market, I guess, closer to blue flare support. Now I'm going to go back to my tab over here that has BT11 open. We're going to go back a tiny bit and go to BT10, and I just want to show what why I'm featuring this card specifically is through the line over here of the Digimon Blue Flare cards, Metal Greymon specifically, because it gains rush, and when you play it, you can actually stun some of your opponent's Digimon with less sources than itself, and so you basically are supposed to go Greymon and Malbergemon, but the ability to stun only works with most of the time stuff that has 2 sources or less. So the way to work around that is by using Too0, and this is the box topper over here. It's about $5, and it looks like it's been bought out pretty much. There's 40 listings now online for about $4 or $5, going up to $6. And I do think Too0 is a good tech to have in the deck, being able to gain 2 memory if your opponent has Digimon with no sources, but also being able to strip sources so that when you go into your blue flare cards, you're going to be able to gain additional effects and be able to stun more of your opponent's stuff when you digicross. So $5 I think is fair for the box topper. Otherwise, I mean, you can either buy him here or risk your luck at buying boxes of Battle of Omni, which is not really opened up too much, and there's not as much value out of it. So definitely consider that when you're making your choices. There is the other version, which I think is about half this price. I'm not going to look up it right now, but pretty certain that the other Basoro Joe is going to be around $2 a piece. Now, one more area I did want to kind of go back and look at was the Black War Greymon. Now, if you don't know, something in BT11, which, man, I'm doing a lot of tab shifting here, but when I go to BT11, as you can see, I did talk about having extra support in the form of Metal Greymon X antibody, which this card is just so good. When digivolving until the end of the turn, your opponent can't reduce DP, reduce your Digimon from DP or de-digivolve it. That's big. And then if there's a Metal Greymon or an X antibody option card in its Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's 6,000 DP. Then it has an effect of when a Digimon becomes unsuspended on your opponent's side of the field. If this Digimon contains Greymon or Omnimon, trash the top card of your opponent's security. So it really stops those decks like blue and green that are able to unsuspend themselves, or at least making them have to work for it. So they'll have to trash the top card of their security or something like that for those effects to work. You have Black War Greymon over here having a reboot, having a redirect to it. It's kind of a cool effect to have as an X antibody support. So with that said, I wanted, initially when this was announced, we had a big buy, which was right around the 47. It was more than this, to be fair. I don't sometimes I think they look at the market averages, but if you look at the history over here, it was closer to $50. Some listings of $50 when it was first announced. As we see, it was around a little higher than 50 in a few of these places. I'm happy it actually went back down, but I think it's going to stay around the $45 mark, especially with as a fan favorite. We have 21 listings, so there's plenty out there. To get this now, I think is a good idea. BT8 is not really opened up as much anymore unless you're trying to get alt arts and such like that. And the secrets are not very strong at the moment. So definitely consider picking this up now before it goes up again. Now, another card I wanted to kind of feature on this was some of the other cards, other ways you can get this. And now this is the super rare version, and it is actually still pretty high, going for about $10. It was really high when it was announced, going for 13, but now it's trailing back down. So I think this is going to pretty much stay at about the $8-9 mark. It is used in BT10, so that means it's going to have consistent play between now and the end of the year. Gaiomon, it was another card I wanted to take a look at, and luckily it also cooled off a little bit. It did have that initial spike, but it is going back down, staying at about $34-35 mark. Not as many listings though on this one, and this artwork is brilliant. Personally, I really love it. So I would definitely consider getting your copies of this card if you are looking to play black-red cards in the future. You do have the other art here, which is pretty cheap, $5, nothing too crazy. Lastly, hopefully, yeah. Oh well, sorry, there is one more card I wanted to look at. I always like to kind of go back on this. So this is the Beelzemon alt art, and I'm gonna refresh this because I think that, yeah, there we go. So this is the alt art that is from BT1. I believe it's BT1, and it has had a little bit of an increase in price, not too much, but basically because there was new support announced for Beelzemon in the starter deck, which is really good, and you may want to pick up 1 or 2 copies of this Beelzemon because you can technically digivolve using the cards in the trash, moving into the future support. So this is something you may want to consider at least picking up. If not, just also having a this as a collector is really cool. Now, finally, I know this has been a very long market watch, but I always like to finish up with going over the memory boost. And we can see now, I've said this quite a few times, but I do definitely believe that the memory boosts here are definitely considered picking up. I always love to end on memory boost, but Pride memory boost here. I tried to warn some people, pick these up when they were cheap. I think they were $17 last time I actually made a video related to this, and I thought it's a really powerful card to be played in Skull Knightmon decks, and also with the Commandramon that's been recently doing really well in the TCG. Other cards to consider are the red, the blue memory boosts. You also have some of the green, other stuff like here, but I do think that the blue and the red are going to see much more play moving forward, especially if you're playing stuff like Gaiomon, or you're playing the blue Metal X Megarumon X. If you are looking to play the max rarity version of the deck, you could also, of course, pay just a few dollars and able to play the ones that you got from the All Force and the Gallantmon starter decks for pretty cheap as well. But these are the box toppers, and BT7 will not be opened much moving forward until we get more support for hybrids. So I do definitely think these are good cards to have, and red and blue are just dominating right now with a lot of stuff, and moving into BT 11, or sorry, BT10, I think these cards are going to start to trail up again. So that's my market watch. I know it was very long today, much more longer than I've ever had one before, but I haven't had a lot of time to take a look at these card prices, and hopefully I'll give you some shorter ones moving forward. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great night.